Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a really big deal. Hugging Face, one of the absolute giants in AI software, is making a huge leap into hardware and robotics. So, what's going on there? All right, so let's jump right in. It all starts with this quote from Hugging Face's co-founder, Thomas Wolfe. He says he's got a spidey sense, his words, that robotics right now is at the exact same tipping point that transformers and LLMs were at just a few years ago. Right before they exploded. And what he realized was that the big roadblock, it wasn't the robots themselves. I mean, the arms, the grippers, all that physical stuff, we've had that for ages. The real missing piece was the brain, the software, something smart enough to actually adapt to the messy real world. And now, he thinks that's finally changing. So, what's the big plan? Well, it's pretty ambitious. They want to build what's essentially an app store for robots. And this is where you really see how huge their vision is. They're not just trying to make better robots. No, they're trying to blow the whole thing wide open. You see, right now, robotics is this tiny, super specialized thing for factory experts. Hugging Face wants to turn it into a massive, open platform that any software developer can jump into. Just like they did with AI models, right? They want to make it accessible to literally millions of people. And the way they're going to do this, it's a project called LayRobot. Think of it as the toolkit, the foundational set of open source building blocks that lets anyone, you, me, any developer, start creating intelligent robots. So, LayRobot breaks down into three main parts, three pillars. First, you've got the policy, which is basically the AI models, the brains of the operation. Second, you have the data sets, which is all the real-world stuff the robot learns from. And third, of course, is the hardware, the physical arms and grippers that actually go out and do things. Okay, but here's the catch. There's this one massive, massive challenge in robotics that language models just never really had to deal with. And it all boils down to one thing: data. Think about it. LLMs got to train on pretty much the entire internet, a bottomless buffet of data. But robotics? It's completely data-starved. You can't just scrape a website to teach a robot how to pick up your coffee mug. And that's the big problem. A robot trained in my kitchen is totally lost in your kitchen. It just can't generalize. So what's the solution to this data desert? Well, for Hugging Face, the answer is simple: community. They've built LayRobot as this open source hub, and already thousands of people have jumped in. We're talking somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 members, all working together. And get this, that number isn't just sitting there. It's growing exponentially. This is the proof, right? This is what backs up that spidey sense Thomas Wolfe was talking about. It's a huge signal that there's a tidal wave of interest coming for physical AI. And this is why the community is the secret sauce. It solves that generalization problem head on. Because when you have thousands of people sharing data from their own unique homes, labs, and workshops, suddenly you have this massive, incredibly diverse data set. The exact thing that's been missing. This is how you teach a robot to adapt and work pretty much anywhere. Okay, so we've talked about the data. Now let's talk about the hardware, because this community-first idea is really shaping the physical form of these future AIs. So in the world of robotics, there's this big debate right now. Do you go for the super expensive, super complex humanoid robots that can do, everything? Or do you go for a whole galaxy of cheaper, simpler, specialized robots? Well, Hugging Face is placing its bet firmly on the galaxy. And they are not kidding around. They're backing robots that are so cheap, it completely changes the game. How cheap? We're talking $300. Think about that. That's not some massive corporate investment. For a developer or a hobbyist, that's an impulse buy. And this is already having a real-world effect. It's not just tinkerers in their garages anymore. This super low price point is kicking off a wave of new startups. You've got entrepreneurs grabbing these little robot platforms and trying to build actual businesses around them right now. So this whole thing, it could be the ChatGPT moment for robotics. But here's the twist. That breakthrough moment might not come from some giant factory floor. It might come from something totally unexpected. From education, from entertainment, from just playing fun. Stuff we haven't even dreamed up yet. So what's the big takeaway here? The most important point isn't just about building better, smarter robots. It's about who gets to build them. The grand vision, the end game, is to empower the 200 million software developers out there to become roboticists, to give them the tools to take their skills off the screen and into the real physical world. It's really about making it so easy and so intuitive that it feels more like playing than programming. I love this quote from Wolf. He says he wants a future where even his kids can just vibe code behavior onto a robot. How cool is that? And that leaves us with one final kind of mind-bending question. We've seen what AI can do when it learns to understand language. So what happens when AI can not only see the world, but touch it, interact with it, and actually manipulate our physical reality? What do we build then?